back then with another beginner's guide for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and we have a landmark here. This is guide number 50, meaning we only have 2 more characters to cover, so it'll be regular Thanos after this, and then it'll be Infinite Thanos to finish off. I figured that would be a good character to finish up these reviews with, but it's character review number 50, and it is Wasp, the Queen of Synergies. We'll be looking at today a character that's actually had a fair amount of requests, so apologies for leaving it as long as this to actually cover her. But we'll be checking her out now in this video to let you know how she plays. We start off, we have a look at her overview, just generally how she plays, and then we'll check out her stats. We'll then talk about her abilities in more detail. We'll have a look at the team bonuses that are available. We'll talk about the synergy attacks, and she does really well here. We'll check out the build I'm running on her. We'll have a look at her 3 alternative costumes, and then we finish up with a summary. So we'll jump in here and we'll start off with the overview. As we mentioned already then, Wasp is the queen of synergy attacks. That's both in the cell synergies and some of the synergies she can actually do with other characters, and we will cover that in a lot more detail when we get to the abilities. When we look at the actual tags on her abilities, she's got the shock tag on 3 of them, so that's great because when you shock somebody it's an automatic crit. She's got the energy tag as well on 3 of them, and she's got the 1 charge ability with the melee tag, so I would normally gear her towards the energy side of things. Her light and heavy attack are energy based as well, and with the heavy attack it's one of these ones where if you actually hold down the block button you can do animation cancelling and she will cast it much faster, so it's something to bear in mind there. Her hero trait is flight. In regards to her stats, her strength is D, but that's not really relevant. It's only her biocharge which it would affect. Don't use that too often. Vitality is an F, so she's definitely on the squishy side. Mastery is a C, that's affecting her energy attacks there. Resilience is a C. Durability is an F, so once again that can make her really pretty squishy. And then her energy rating is up at a B, and energy is actually going to be quite important to her when we look at how I would primarily play her. But that's the overview. Let's have a more in-depth look now at her abilities. The first ability we look at here is Wasp Sting, and this is her most important ability. Now, if you've been following Ultimate Alliance 3 to any real degree, I imagine you will have heard of the Spin to Win build. So this is where you run Miss Marvel alongside a character that has an attack that's got the rapid fire synergy trait, and that in turn creates ricochet. Now the faster they can actually do the attack, the better it actually works out. So another great character would be the likes of Gambit, but a combo you'll see very often people using will be Wasp and Miss Marvel. And you want to hold down your synergy button. You will have to be controlling Miss Marvel at the time, and as long as Wasp is nearby then you'll get your ricochet and you will absolutely melt bosses. The next ability we have here is Tiny Tornado. This is another great one for synergy attacks. You've got various characters that can synergise with the tornadoes, but Wasp actually has 2 attacks that can synergise with it as well. Firstly, you've got Wasp Sting that we've already covered, but you've also got Big Surprise. Now if you use it with Wasp Sting you can get continuous damage. If you want 1 large damage packet then you would use Big Surprise, because when you use this it does consume the tornadoes. That is something just to bear in mind there. The next ability we have here is Big Surprise. This one is quite fun and it really reminds me of the first Ant-Man movie. So you throw a variety of different objects, normally sweets and fidget spinners, but it's enlarged versions of them. Now as mentioned already, if you combine this with Tiny Tornado then you will get a synergy attack, but it does consume the tornado. So if you're looking for a pretty quick large damage packet, a one-off, then you can use this, but by and large I'll normally use Wasp Sting with Tiny Tornado instead. I prefer the sustained damage you get from that instead. The final ability we have here is Biocharge, and this actually does decent damage. You can see the stagger rating is up at A, so it can be nice for loading the stagger rating on bosses and elites, but the way I build Wasp is that I build them more towards the energy side of things, which means the damage in this does go a little bit lower. So generally if I'm looking to run a character that's going to break the stagger gauge on an elite or a boss, I'll run the likes of Black Panther, who can spec all into a particular damage type, as opposed to Wasp, who's more likely specking towards the energy side of things. But that's all the abilities, and as mentioned, your important one is your Wasp Sting. You can use that alongside Tiny Tornado and Wasp Sting to get a great synergy, or you can use it alongside a character like Miss Marvel or even Mr. Fantastic now actually to get that great ricochet attack there. Now next up, let's have a look at the team bonuses. For the team bonuses here, Wasp is part of 4 different teams. So we've got Original Avengers, Ultimate Alliance 3, Avengers, and then Women of Marvel. Now the 2 characters that cross over into 3 different teams, meaning they give you the highest bonus, would be Crystal and Scarlet Witch. Now I will mention that getting team bonuses of course is nice, but I wouldn't build a team based around team bonuses, and it means you're missing out in the likes of the spin to win combo between Wasp and Miss Marvel, Wasp and Mr. Fantastic. I would go for that instead. You'll get far more damage from going for a powerful synergy like that than you would over some extra stats via the team bonus, but it is there just to let you know anyway. Now let's have a look at the synergy attacks. So we have already covered synergies to an extent, but with Wasp, she really is the queen of synergies, as I've mentioned a few times, so it's inevitable you will talk about them a lot when you are looking at her. Now, she's got 4 different synergy traits anyway. It's Charge, Whirlwind, Slam and Rapid Fire. The one you want to go for, as I'm sure you know already, is Rapid Fire converting into Ricochet. The top 5 team synergies, these are the characters she has the most synergies with, not necessarily the most potent ones. You've got Crystal, Star-Lord and Wolverine that are up at 70. The bottom one, but it's still in the top 5 of course, is Crystal, Miss Marvel and Star-Lord at 67. So you definitely want to pair her up with Miss Marvel. You can pair her up with Mr. Fantastic as well, as already mentioned, but there was testing done on Reddit. I can't recall the name of the user unfortunately, but someone done some pretty awesome testing, and it seems that the spin to win build, the best one to go for is still Miss Marvel over Mr. Fantastic. But that's all the synergies. Let's have a look at the build I'm running on her. Build wise then, is the spin to win build we go for. So with this here, you want to increase the damage of energy attacks by 19.2, you want to increase the crit chance of energy attacks by 11.1, if you don't have them you'll increase the damage of attacks by 16.5, and you also want to increase the energy by 9.8. When you're running Miss Marvel, who you would run this particular build with, just spec her into the melee side of things for her ISO, and then you'll be pushing out huge damage numbers. Now I haven't actually tested the difference in using the synergy ISOs. They're ones I've not really came across that often, but if anyone has tested them against going for all out energy on Wasp and melee on Miss Marvel, let me know what the damage numbers are, and I'll even look to pin the post if you've got some nice math in there. But that's the build I'm running. Let's have a look at that alternative costume for her. The first costume we look at here is just an alternative recolouring of the base costume. You get this while playing through the superior story mode. It essentially inverts the black and the yellow colours on our costume. It's a nice costume overall, but it's quite hard to see the difference with this one. We then have the proper alternative costume here, one I wasn't too keen on to start off with, but playing around with it in game, I actually really like this look. This is her classic look, and you get this via the Shield Depot for 400 of your Shield credits. The final costume we have here is an alternative recolouring of the costume we looked at just a moment ago, and I think I probably prefer this one over the base one. It really does look pretty great. That's all the costumes. Let's just finish up now with a quick summary. During this video then we have talked a lot about synergy, specifically the Miss Marvel synergy with Wasp. That's the spin to win build, and it is exceptionally good and you can melt bosses with it, but on her own Wasp is still a good character as well, and I feel that the spin to win aspect of her slightly means that other elements of her are overlooked where she is strong. You've got her tags first on her abilities, so all her abilities, including her light and her heavy bar 1, have the energy tag, so when you're building her you can get her damage numbers up nice and high. She's got the hero trait of flight, which is great as well, and then she's got self synergies as well, and any character that can self synergize really can help out a whole lot. But she's a really fun character to play. I've no idea why I left it as long as I did to actually cover, but yeah, she was a ton of fun to play. So let me know in the comments below what you think of Wasp. Do you like to run it on her own, or do you just go for the standard spin to win build? And thanks for tuning in for this. 2 more videos to go, so we're almost there, and stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon.